Hey guys, what's up? This is Joe. Good morning. Good coffee. Cheers. Thumbnail pic. Quick introduction video. So basically this is something that I cut out from a previous video that I was making, right? So that's why I'm making this intro, to give an introduction to what's going on, right? I basically go over how compression works, and how to make sure you get like the best quality possible, right, with your video, right? When you export your video from whatever editing software you got, right? So here's a video and I'll get back to you in a bit. Another thing before I go, I want to talk about compression really quick, and I think this is something that doesn't get brought up a lot. Now, for the most part, when I export videos, I always use the H.264 format, right? I think that's pretty common for most people that edit. When they render out the video, it's always at a 8.264 format. Now, to give you a better understanding what the H.264 format is, or what it's doing, is basically that it creates like a grid around your video, right? So basically, I'll explain it this way. Right now, you see me, right? There's mainly my face. I'm talking a lot. My hand is moving a lot and all this stuff, right? However, this area back here, it's all similar, right? It's all the same. Obviously, because I'm putting my finger over it, so it's completely different. However, when I'm talking like this, nothing is going on over my shoulder. So basically, what compression does is basically, from my understanding, and again, this is from my understanding, right? Is that basically when it's being encoded into this compression format, it's basically seeing that this area is very similar to the previous the video. So basically what it does is like it recycles the color information as much as it can. So basically what you're seeing is kind of like a repeat area. So instead of creating like a new frame, it's almost like recycling the previous frame. That way you can create less information. So basically everything you see in here is being compressed in a manner that is, it's almost like you're seeing everything on repeat. So instead of creating like a new individual color information for each individual frame for this video, it's basically one giant block of the same thing. It's almost like watching like a still of the image, right? Because since nothing is moving here, there's no reason for like the video format to like pretty much create a new frame. So it's basically recycling the same color information from the previous frame, right? So everything's the same. The only thing that's different is me talking. So basically my face and my fingers and all that is being updated as it's compressing this video format, right? And that's pretty much what it does to like help like reduce like the information of the video. That way when it gets compressed, the file size is not that big, you know, compared to like a raw image video format, you know, say like the Red cameras. The reason why those fucking video formats are so goddamn large is because each individual frame holds a lot of like metadata where you can individually adjust, say like the white balance and the exposure and all the shit. You know, just like in the camera, you can adjust the exposure and white balance. With a lossless video format, like from the Red, you are able to adjust the exposure levels in post-production, right? That's why those formats are fucking large, because they retain a lot of all that information, right? But when like you get a compressed format, basically all of this information here is all saying this shit is similar to the previous frames because nothing is changing. It looks the same, right? So basically recycling image information, right? These characters are moving around, so it gets updated, right? But everything else is almost like a still picture, right? Say like the bar, it's not moving, right? It's not going anywhere. So basically it's like using like the same, it's almost like it makes like a still picture and it uses that image over and over again until somebody say runs their hand over it, and then like it updates the information with like, you know, this person's hand going over the bar, right? So all right, so one more thing before I go. If you just simply look up how does like H.264 works, there's plenty of websites that kind of explains to you how it works, right? I guess one thing I kind of failed to explain in this video when I was blabbering is basically the format works in a prediction manner, right? From the previous code frame, it's gonna predict what the next one is gonna be, right? So basically it kind of helps recycle like the color information, right? So like right now you see a bunch of white my screen from like the web browser. Since like there's a lot of similar information from previous frames, it's gonna predict what the next frame is gonna be, right? So it kind of recycles a lot of that color information, as I was trying to explain. So that's how it reduces like the size of like the file project when it gets exported, right? And pretty much everything gets compressed down to blocks, right? So that's why, for example, in certain videos, when it gets very blocky, the more value you add to your compression, I mean like the higher settings, you get more information, right? It's less blocky. But when the values are so low, basically everything gets compressed down to shit to like more solid blocks, right? So that's something to keep in mind when you're working with compression, right? Especially with the H.264 format. So yeah, that's basically it. Compression is basically, you know, trying to reduce the amount of image data that's available in your video, right? Just to reduce the size of it when you export the video, right? Compression is a big part of your final product, so understanding how it works and how you can improve on the quality, the settings and other stuff that works for you. It does get to a point where like if your settings are too high, meaning like the values, right? Again, there's like a threshold where like anything past a certain level, it's unnecessary, right? You probably wouldn't even tell the difference, right? So yeah, find like a setting that you feel comfortable at, you know, do some experimenting. Like I've done this myself. Like I kind of like messed around with like some personal videos. I uploaded them at certain bitrate settings, you know, for YouTube when I compress them. And I try to figure out what works for me. Me personally, for these videos that I make, I usually do them at 15 constant bitrate. Usually with Paul, I think he does for 1080. I think he goes up to 18 or 20, I believe. But then like the size of your video is higher. Then like, you know, you have to worry about, you know, upload speeds and stuff like that, which is another thing. Depending on your internet, if you have a high quality video that has a high bitrate settings or whatever, then obviously it's gonna take longer to upload and stuff like that. So, you know, things like that you need to keep in mind, right? One more thing before I go, if you just like type in like YouTube bitrate settings, they actually can give you like a recommended upload and coding setting, right? So for like H.264, which is what we use when we export our videos. Yeah, see, so for 1080p, depending on the frame rate, my videos that I'm doing right now, they're usually 60 frames per second, right? And they recommend 12. Like I said, I always select 15 just to give it a little extra, right? And also I'm okay with like the size increase on my videos, right? I got no problem with that. So like I said, it's all about experimentation and find what works for you, and then basically, you know, just stick with that, right? So anyways, that's all I got for you. I hope the video helps. If it did, you know, I'll put some like links here so you can like hook it up with the coffee. I really appreciate that. If not, no problem. Like as always, you know, I'm gonna continue making these videos because I do enjoy sharing what I know, right? So either way, thank you, and leave a like, leave a comment, a question, and all the good stuff, and I'll see you the next time. Take care and peace.